And right now, late-breaking developments in the Kelsey Smith-Briggs case. This 2-year-old's mother is now heading to prison. A jury found Radon Smith guilty tonight of enabling child abuse, which investigators say led to the girl's death. Eyewitness News 5's Jerry Giordano has the new information tonight.
I was shocked. I wasn't so much shocked that they gave her the guilty verdict. I was shocked at the amount of years they give her.
Kelsey Briggs' father, Lance, is satisfied with today's verdict. Radon Smith will spend 27 years behind bars.
If they'd have gave her 1,000 years or 0 years, Kelsey's not coming back.
Radon Smith was convicted of felony child abuse for either allowing or enabling sexual and physical abuse of 2-year-old Kelsey Briggs by her then husband. Jurors deliberated quickly, only 2 hours, 35 minutes. And for family, it is a dramatic end to a 2-year ordeal.
People always use that word closure. The only way to me that you could have closure is if you wake up and realize this was a bad dream and Kelsey's just sitting beside you. I don't believe closure.
Neither does Kelsey's father, but Lance Briggs does believe in the system.
There's no such thing as fair. What's the important thing here is that the system worked and justice has been served, and that's been our goal since day one.
So that is where things stand tonight. Radon Smith will be spending a very long time behind bars while the family continues to heal. Reporting in Bristow, Jerry Giordano, Eyewitness News 5.
And you heard the jury recommended Smith spend 27 years behind bars. Her formal sentencing is set for August 23rd. Her ex-husband, Michael Porter, testified that he thinks Smith was responsible for Kelsey's death. Porter pleaded guilty to enabling child abuse and was sentenced to 30 years in prison.
The jury, 7 women and 5 men agree Smith enabled the abuse that led to the murder of her 2-year-old daughter, Kelsey Smith-Briggs. Fox 25's Britton Follett has been in the courtroom since day one of this trial.
She joins us now live, and apparently Radon Smith was quite emotional as we saw being let out, but quite emotional when she heard the verdict as well. Britton.
That's right, Andrew. We listened to 8 days of testimony, and I have to remind you that there is a guilty verdict here, but no one has been convicted of the murder of Kelsey Smith-Briggs. She was convicted of enabling child abuse. We listened to 8 days of excruciating detail. We saw pictures of bruises, broken bones, even pictures of Kelsey on the autopsy table. And we were specifically told to focus on who took care of Kelsey when those primary injuries occurred. Now, the defense, they spent most of their time trying to prove that Michael Porter was the one who killed Kelsey. And if everyone else that was watching her, DHS, CASA, Chubbs, all of the state agencies that were in charge of protecting her, didn't recognize she was being abused, why should Radon? But the prosecution continued to remind jurors that either Michael Porter or Radon brutally murdered the 2-year-old. And even if you believe Michael Porter killed her, then Radon did not protect her from it. And the jurors agreed. They sentenced her to 27 years, and she will have to serve 85% of that sentence. Sandra and Jamie?
7 years in prison. As a layman, it seems like they threw the book at her. How big of a surprise was that verdict, or that sentence, to people in the courtroom?
There was a lot of discussion over how much she would get if she was actually convicted, especially when the district attorney told the jurors he believes Michael Porter is the murderer. So how much would the jury come back and give her as a sentence if they found her guilty of either child abuse or enabling child abuse? And even Lance Briggs, Kelsey's paternal father, said he couldn't believe it when they said 27 years. He kind of looked to the side and said, is it 2? Is it 7? And when they said 27, I think there were a lot of people who said that that was a very fair sentence for her.
I don't know what fair is in this. There's no such thing as fair. Kelsey's not coming back. She's gone. And what this was right here today was justice for my daughter. And justice has been served.
Kelsey Briggs' mother puts her head in her hands and cries as the jury sends her to prison for 27 years. Good evening, I'm Jamie Soretta.
I'm Andrew Spino. On the 8th day of her trial, the jury finds Radon Smith guilty of allowing her child to be abused. Fox 25's Britton Follett is live at the Creek County Courthouse. She joins us now. Britton?
In closing arguments today, prosecutors told the jury it's a mother's job to protect her child. That's her job on earth, and Radon Smith did not protect Kelsey. The jury agreed.
Handcuffs hug her arms because her baby is not here to hug.
The horrible, horrible part is
is she could have prevented it. She's over there crying when they read the verdict. She did not have to be sitting there in that chair today. She could be out playing with Kelsey right now and not in handcuffs.
After a lifetime of countless bruises and broken bones, a guilty verdict does not mend a broken heart.
People always use that word closure. The only way to me that you could have closure is if you wake up and realize this was a bad dream and Kelsey's just sitting beside you.
In closing arguments, prosecutors reminded the jury the one person who could not come into the courtroom was Kelsey. But she left behind pictures of her broken, battered body as evidence.
Somewhere she's smiling down. I hope she is.
Prosecutors said Kelsey is dead and Ray Dawn is responsible.
I don't think this girl did a crime, and I know the jury felt different, but I don't understand why.
The verdict doesn't make it better, it makes it just.
There's no such thing as justice, true justice for Kelsey. She's not here. Justice for Kelsey would be to be here.
Not here for the family who cried for help while she was alive and cried for justice after her death.
After the verdict today, the Briggs family told us that the same system that failed Kelsey time and time again finally worked, and they are thankful. Part of that process is 12 jurors who were chosen to decide Ray Dawn's fate. Fox 25's Lisa Monahan talked with some of those jurors as they walked out of the courthouse. Lisa?
Testimonies from both of Kelsey's grandmas, a DHS worker who admitted they may have made a mistake, and doctors who confirmed child abuse. The jurors took 2.5 hours to reach a guilty verdict.
So I think she got what she deserved. It was rough as hell, but she got it.
12 jurors, 7 women, 5 men, and 9 of them parents, all listened, but only 2 would talk.
What was it like serving?
Uncomfortable.
How about looking at the pictures?
Disturbing.
At times, the emotional testimonies too tough to sit through.
What was it like looking at all of those pictures? If you ever want to see somebody puke, go look at them.
Jurors say after looking at bruise after bruise on Kelsey's body, it did not take long to decide Ray Dawn's fate.
It took a little over 2 hours. Do you think you guys needed more time to make that decision?
No.
Was everyone pretty much in agreement?
Yes.
For a 2-year-old taken too soon, the jurors say they just did what they had to do.
I don't think it's anything anybody would like to do.
They're the final words heard by Ray Dawn Smith, yelled as a deputy prepared to drive her away in handcuffs.
There's no relief because Kelsey's not going to be back.
A Creek County jury found Ray Dawn guilty of enabling the child abuse of her 2-year-old daughter, Kelsey. Kelsey's father, Smith-Briggs, says he was glad to hear the verdict, but cannot say it was fair.
There's no such thing as fair. Kelsey's not coming back. She's gone. And what this was right here today was justice for my daughter. And justice has been served.
He says when the verdict was read, he felt a sense of relief.
I wanted to hear it so bad. And I did, and then I needed to hear how many years she was going to go to prison for, and it shocked me to death when I said 27.
He says Ray Dawn's recommended punishment is fitting, a mere 3 years less than what Smith's ex-husband, Michael Porter, is serving for the same crime.
It's been hard on both sides of the family. And the horrible, horrible part is that she could have prevented it.
The verdict doesn't make it better, it makes it just.
Kelsey's grandmother, Kathy Briggs, says she's glad justice was served. However, not even justice can put what's happened to little Kelsey behind this family.
The only way to me that you could have closure is if you wake up and realize this was a bad dream and Kelsey's just sitting beside you. I don't believe closure exists.
Ray Dawn's attorney, and to either speak with him or with Smith's family. We talked with the lady at his office. She said he was out of the office today and would not be available for comment. Now, on another note, Kathy Briggs says that she hopes that this trial has sent a message to mothers that they need to protect their children. She says you should never be afraid to report child abuse because protecting the child is the most important thing that you can do.